Hello, Four Star Nation, and welcome back to a Saturday morning show. We got Nathan Wilson in the house. We got Jonathan Sturdivant, A.A. Ron Smith, Ray McKenna. I am Wes Pruitt. Hope everyone is doing well this Saturday morning. Well, we've had a pretty interesting week when it comes to sports. Ray, what did you find most interesting this week?
Well, big news out of Philadelphia. Carson Wentz got traded to the Indianapolis Colts for a couple draft picks, a third round for this year, and then a second rounder for next year. There's a condition to that. If Carson plays 75% of his games this year and makes the playoffs, that second rounder will turn into a first rounder, which is very interesting.
Nice.
It's a win-win because Carson Wentz gets to a new team, and then we help the Indianapolis Colts a little bit. But I'm really still concerned about the Eagles in terms of their salary cap and all that, and what we can bring in. That's not going to break it.
Ray, let me ask you this, man. Since you brought it up, and somehow I knew either you or Aaron one from the Philly connection would bring it up today. What do you feel? I mean, how do you feel as a big Philadelphia Eagles fan, as I know you are? What does it feel like to have Carson Wentz, the golden child that y'all brought in a few years back, now be let go for second round draft picks?
Well, I feel two ways because number one, with the relationship going to south for the head coach and Carson Wentz, I felt that was a good move for the Eagles, be moral and salary wise. And then on the other side, I look to the future. Jalen Hurts is their number one right now, unless they draft a quarterback in this year's draft that can make a quarterback competition with Hurts.
I mean, there's like a rumor out there that Justin Fields, they might be trying to swing a deal with Justin Fields in the draft and then have a little quarterback competition between Jalen Hurts and Justin Fields. But we'll see if that even happens.
Yeah, we'll see what they do.
Yeah, Aaron, what did you find interesting from this week in sports, man?
Whew. Well, I mean, the fact that I was just chilling at home last night watching football. I loved the fact that I was watching a football game last night. So I was going to talk about the FCS a little bit. And this South Dakota State Northern Iowa game was a good one. It was physical. It was fast. I mean, these teams were good, but I feel like the upper tier FCS schools are actually pretty good. Because I remember in 2019, South Dakota State went to the bitter end with Minnesota. And if you guys remember, 2019 Minnesota team was good. They were knocking on the door to the Big Ten championship. So this South Dakota State team took them to the bitter end of that game. So, yeah, the most exciting thing to me was getting some college football in the middle of February. That was the most exciting thing for me.
Man, I just happened to, as John says all the time, my favorite channel is ESPN Plus. But I happened to turn it on last night, and I just happened to catch FCS football, and I was like, this has got to be a repeat. And I was like, oh, wait, no, it's not. This is live. That was a great football game last night. I don't know if everybody tuned in to watch it or not, but it was a great game. Nathan, what did you find interesting from the world of sports this week?
Well, I mean, one was not so obvious, which was something I talked to you about earlier, that Nate Oates has received a contract extension from the University of Alabama all the way to 2027. And I think that's a big move. I mean, he's a great coach. He's done an amazing job this season for Alabama. So, way to go on that. But one of the things I found interesting is this J.J. Watt. All right. Nobody knows where he's going to go.
I do.
Trying to decide, will it be the Browns? Well, will it be the Browns? But then again, will it be the Packers? Packers have just for players, and Deshaun. Going back to what Raymond was talking about, the Eagles, Deshaun Jackson got released.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, it's going to be crazy for that. Whoever gets him, it's going to be a big move. That's for sure.
It is. It is. And this is really probably one of my favorite times of the year when it comes to NFL. The season ends, and now we see all these transactions for the future. I saw a stat that said between, I believe it was 2009 and 2016, that every quarterback that was drafted during that time span is no longer with that team that drafted him. That is a just, I would say, mind-boggling statistic to me because, I mean, look at how much money Philadelphia Eagles paid Carson Wentz. Look at, I mean, just the amount of money that you're putting into these guys, and then down the road they're gone. It's just very, very surprising to me. Just going back to the Carson Wentz thing real quick before we move on to John. I like Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz is a good quarterback. The man's got to have an offensive line. If that's one thing that all of us know, it doesn't matter how good you are at the quarterback position. If you don't have people in front of you that you trust and that can block for you, you're not going to be a successful quarterback. Now, I'm not saying that he's not successful when I say that. Go ahead, Ray.
And I want to make amends to the draft picks, just to be clear. It's a third rounder for this year and a second rounder for 2022. If the condition that I mentioned is successful, that second rounder will turn to a first rounder for 2022.
That I know of, I don't think I've ever, and I could be wrong on this, but I don't know that I've ever seen a I didn't know that I don't think I've ever seen that type of stipulation in a trade. I mean, that's very, very cool.
That's a rarity.
Bumgardner said Wentz is going to win an MVP. I know that excites everyone from the connection. Eric Edwards, thank you very much for watching on YouTube, man. Yeah, it was 2009. Yeah, 22 quarterbacks. Thank you, Eric, for that. Also, thank you for everyone watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Currently, right now, we have viewers on all three, so it's very nice to have all three of our social medias going off right now. John, what did you find interesting from this week, man?
Well, before we talk about this, my news this week real quick, I want to ask y'all a question regarding the Carson Wentz trade while we're talking about Carson Wentz a little bit real quick. If you guys don't mind,
Go ahead.
Who's going to succeed better, Matthew Stafford or Carson Wentz?
Ray, you go first on that one.
All right, John and Wes. It's a very tough proposition because you compare the two careers. You have Matthew Stafford, who has been a Detroit Lion for how long, and then you have Carson Wentz, who has been there for about 4 years. No, but Carson Wentz won a Super Bowl thanks to the wonderful work of our insurance policy, Nick Foles, back in the day. So he's got the Super Bowl ring indirectly, but Matthew Stafford does not have one. So it's kind of hard to say if you want Matthew Stafford in there or Carson Wentz, based upon their accuracy percentage and all that.
Aaron, what about you?
I just think Matthew Stafford has more to prove here, and because he's been in the league forever. Like, I feel like I don't even remember the league before he was in it, and he so I feel like he's going to need to step up his game. I feel like he's at a better team to do that, and I feel like he will have the better season or the better career moving forward.
Let's go, Nathan. What about you, man?
I mean, to be honest with you, you look at the two teams right here. Indianapolis Colts, who had a real good season last year, coming off a good season, Picking up a guy, Carson Wentz. I mean, that he is a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I mean, yeah, he does have a Super Bowl ring, but man, Stafford, he does have a lot to prove. But I think being over there at the LA Rams, I think that's going to help him big in this. I think we're going to see Matt Stafford that I think a lot of fans have been waiting to see. You know, so you can't take anything away from him. I know he has a lot. I mean, I would say Matt Stafford. I think he's going to be something else next year with the LA Rams.
The reason I'm asking that question is because I think Matthew Stafford, like you said, Nathan, has something to prove as well, and I think him going to the Rams will give him a better shot because the Rams defense can help him get turnovers and get him a lot better in the long run. Like you can't pass up Jalen Ramsey and Sam Darnold on defense. They're top 2 in the defense in that category, you know. But
yep.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Matthew Stafford will probably be the long one in the long run.
You know,
wow,
man, this is hard.
Brandon.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Brandon.
Bum is throwing out locks of the year already. Yeah, he's throwing out locks of the year already. Thank you for watching, Brandon. Thank you very much for watching. But I think when it comes down to these two quarterbacks, first off, let me say this. I'm a huge Matthew Stafford fan. The job that he did at Georgia in college was absolutely amazing. I know John remembers that for sure. I mean, we all do, I'm sure. But here's the difference in the two quarterbacks. Look at the systems that they're going to. You've got Matthew Stafford going to Sean McVay out in L.A. now. Look at the talent around him. Cooper Kupp. They got that running back trio that is nasty. Of course, you look at the Indianapolis Colts. They've got Jonathan Taylor. They've got a pretty good defense as well. I just think Matthew Stafford, like everyone has said, I think he's got just a little bit more to prove. I think he wants to prove that he's not the quarterback that everyone saw in Detroit. Now, let's not forget, y'all, he put up great numbers as a Detroit Lion with nobody around him. I mean, he had Megatron, but who else has he really had that's just a breakout star? I mean, I can't think of anyone, and I've been following them, fairly consistently. John, that's
maybe Golden Tate, maybe.
They got a running back. I mean, they got Swift. Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, I think when you look at the Rams, both defenses are good. Don't get me wrong. Indianapolis has a good defense. The Rams have a really good defense, as we know. I think it's the systems that's going to make the biggest difference. And I think when you look at Frank Reich at Indianapolis, of course, him and Carson worked together before. So it's kind of a little reunion between them, which I'm very interested to see how that works. But I think to answer your question, John, at the end of the day, it's going to be the Rams and Matthew Stafford.
Good answer. But, my sports of the week. First of all, the McDonald's All-American High School basketball game is canceled due to COVID-19. But I don't agree with that because the kids are playing basketball right now all around the country. I know different parts of the country are not playing basketball still. Like Antonio Anderson just announced this week, for example, he's going to have – they got one more – they can practice now in Massachusetts. They still got to go through one more huddle to see if they can play games. If they can play games, they can only play league games. But the McDonald's All-American game being canceled for the second year in a row, I know it's like an all-star game, but to me, let the kids play just to show their talents. But I want to ask you all a trivia question while we're on this question topic. What happened in sports? Name the last person in the NBA that scored 50 in a game, did not make a free throw, or did not shoot a free throw in that NBA game.
James Harden.
Any other guesses? Without looking that up, Nathan.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at James Harden too.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, that literally is a guess because I do not know the answer to this. I literally just guessed James Harden just because I can see him dancing around, doing all this crazy crap, scoring a lot of points, and then not shooting a free throw.
Yeah.
But
James
John,
Harden.
real quick.
Yeah.
All right. Real quick on this McDonald's All-American game, just want to give a quick shout out to a young man that I coached in youth football. Found out this week he was named to the McDonald's All-American team, and that is Caden Laws. Plays basketball for, I believe it's Center Hill down in Olive Branch, Mississippi. He's a power forward, signed to go to Arkansas Pine Bluff starting next year. So very, very excited for Caden. Kudos to him, man. I know that young man and his dad, and Caden has worked. I know his entire family, but Caden has worked very, very hard, and just want to give a quick shout out to him on the show. Go ahead, John.
Aaron, any guesses real quick?
Yeah, so I have no idea, but I can envision James Harden as well.
No, you looked it up. You cheated. What happened last night in Cleveland, Ohio, when the Denver Nuggets traveled there and Jamal Murray scored 50 against the Cleveland Cavaliers and did not shoot a single free throw in that basketball game.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Jamal Murray and the
That's
Denver
insane.
Nuggets. So
That's
my
crazy.
and then, of course, we're going to talk about this later on. College baseball is back for certain teams. Some teams aren't playing this weekend, like Memphis. They're not playing due to the snow. So then college baseball is back as well, but we'll talk about that later on in the show. But yeah, that's my entertainment for the week.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it's that's your entertainment for the week. That's good, John.
Entertainment
when you look at
Hold on.
when you look at the landscape, go ahead, Nathan.
So for any Bengal fans listening, Joe Burrow is back in the gym. So basically, he's out of the rehab in the gym. He's working out. And good.
Yeah, the fact that Joe Burrow is back already is just, I mean, that guy's a stud, man. He's gonna be very, very fun. My news, we talked about Josh Heupel going to Tennessee, but now Central Florida has now found their athletic director and their new head coach. The athletic director came from Arkansas State. I think it's a good hire for Central Florida. I think it's going to be a good hire for them. But when you look at who they hired, they went back to somebody. What's that song? Somebody that you used to know.
Yo.
Y'all know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Yes.
They went to somebody that used to know, and that man's name is Gus Malzahn.
Ooh, just kidding.
Gus Malzahn.
It says,
Gus Malzahn.
Should you access to your camera and mic?
Gus Malzahn is now the Central Florida head coach. I'm very intrigued by this hiring. I went back, did a little research. It's not hard. You just go type in Google Gus Malzahn Auburn, and it'll pull up his whole record. So this is what I want to talk about to preface this before we fully before we fully get into everything with this hire. Gus Malzahn at Auburn was at the following: 12-2 first year.
Okay.
We have a special guest on the show. Eric Edwards has joined the show with us. Eric is a big Central Florida fan. Eric, thank you very much for joining the show today. Thank you for being on the 4-Star Sports Show.
Thanks for having me.
When you go back and look, not a problem, man. When you go back and look at Gus Malzahn over his career at Auburn, 12-2, year one, lost in the BCS National Championship. After that, let's be honest, it was kind of mediocre. Now, of course, he's playing in the SEC East. I get that. Or he's playing in the SEC. I understand that. 8-5, 7-6, 8-5, 10-4, 8-4, 9-4, went 6-4 this year, and was fired. Let's look at who is leaving Central Florida. Josh Heupel, 12-1 first year, not his team. 10-3 this year, 6-4. So, Eric, I guess the question is this, man. As a Central Florida fan, how did you feel when you lost Josh Heupel? And how do you feel now that you have the Gus bus coming to Florida?
All right. So good questions. Appreciate you talking to me about it. I would say myself, along with several tons of UCF fans, probably wanted Heupel to be fired at the end of last season. But because of his buyout, we just knew that it wasn't going to be financially feasible, especially with COVID. So the only hope that we really had was Randy Shannon being fired, because obviously defense was one of our weak suits last season and maybe for the last couple of years. But then, with Danny White leaving, that took care of everything. We actually got paid $6 million roughly to take care of those two problems. I think overall, a good majority of UCF fans were very happy with that happening. At first, they were devastated that Danny White was leaving, but then once we saw who we got, Terry Mahajer from Arkansas State, people were like, okay, we like him. He's got good energy and things like that. And then we were obviously a lot of players were hoping for Jeff Lebby to come back. But then when we got Gus Malzahn, I think a lot of people were a little bit bummed out because they weren't sure how motivated he would be, thinking oh, well, he's coming from the SEC. He's sitting on a $21 million buyout. How excited is he going to be? But then once we saw the press conference the other day, everybody was excited. People are buying T-shirts, including myself. So we're really ready to go. He wasn't stellar the entire time he was at Auburn, but he did beat Nick Saban 3 times.
Yeah, and that was actually my next point when it came to Gus Malzahn. There's a lot of people that are not fans of Gus Malzahn. I get it. He was at Arkansas State for a blink of an eye and he took off and ran. I understand that. Yeah. But he climbed Mount Saban 3 times. There's only a couple guys that I can think of that's done that, and the other one's named Hugh Freeze. I mean, there's only a very select few people who have been able to accomplish that.
Both of those guys coached at Arkansas State
a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I was just getting ready to say the same thing. That's very interesting to me too. When you look back at that game a few years ago with Auburn, Alabama, when he, let's be honest, Nathan, outcoached Nick Saban to win that game. Yeah. He outcoached him to win the game. Everybody has to admit that. You can't not admit that. But Eric, let me ask you this, man.
I'm not going to admit.
Let me ask you this, Eric. Of course, he called y'all the UFC. It's okay. I understand that happens. But looking forward, it was actually pretty comical.
And I've
Looking
noticed
forward
I've noticed he hasn't even tried to say UCF since then.
No, he has not. I found that funny too. When you look moving forward for Central Florida football, of course, no secret, I'm a Memphis fan. John's a Memphis fan. We understand there's a smidge of a rivalry between Memphis and Central Florida, I would say. But when you look at Central Florida and their football program moving forward, personally, I love the hire of the athletic director and I love the hire of the head coach. I I think when you look at Gus Malzahn, he doesn't have the pressure of Auburn anymore. He doesn't have that unreal expectations of we won a national championship every year. I mean, it's just a fact. But when you come to the American Athletic Conference, it's different. It's not the SEC. It's different. I mean, Cincinnati, Memphis, Temple can shock you here and there, as we both found out. Tulsa, as we both have found out, can beat you. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, but when you look at Gus Malzahn, I will say this. I think he is a better game manager than Josh Heupel. One of my biggest pet peeves, and John can attest to this, I've been saying this since they hired Josh Heupel. He never made in-game adjustments to me. He never made changes that were going to benefit his team right then. Not at halftime, but right then. So let me ask you this. Moving forward with Gus Malzahn leading your program, give me and I'll go around the room for everybody, but I'll start off with you, Eric. Give me a rough schedule final standing for Central Florida moving forward next year.
All right. And the reason why I laughed real quick when you talked about the pressure is I don't know if you watched all of our introductory press conference that we had with UCF. One of the local reporters asked him, is he ready for the pressure cooker of UCF? And people all across the country made fun of him for that question because they're like, wait a minute, dude, he's coming from Auburn and the SEC. But then you got to realize that UCF and the Twitter mafia, it's a different animal. It's not quite the same pressure, obviously, but it does get really pretty rowdy if you don't do things the right way. So as for our schedule and expected results, I'm thinking, a logical, reasonable record would be probably 10-2. I'm still a little bit concerned about the Cincinnati game. I'm concerned about the Memphis game. I'm not going to guarantee. I'm just hopeful that we can beat you guys because we're hosting you. I'm a little bit worried about Boise State. And then I'm also a little bit worried about SMU later in the season because I'm not sure how well we'll do in the cold in November. But I think a reasonable expectation is 10-2.
Okay. All right. John, I'll let you go next, buddy.
I'll say 8-4, worst case scenario. Best case scenario, 9-3.
Oh.
And of course,
right,
winning a lot is to us.
Well, I mean, I'll just go next. I mean, I'm very similar. I think 9-3 will be about where they'll end up. They could very well be 10-2. I mean, I'll just be honest. But I think 9-3, 8-4. I don't know that they'll lose 4 games. I think they'll lose 3. I think Cincinnati, as you alluded to, Cincinnati is going to be good. I mean, that's just all there is to it. Memphis, I think, is going to be loaded this year. I think after you look at what Memphis did last year and crossing off a lot of boxes, one of them was beating Central Florida. When you look at Memphis, I think this year is kind of prime for us. And you're right, SMU is a team to always look out for. But at the same time, in the American Athletic Conference, anybody can beat anybody on any Saturday. And it's really Aaron loves the American Athletic Conference down there in the corner.
I love it.
It's a fun conference to watch in all athletics, basketball, football, baseball, whatever. But yeah, when you look at Central Florida, I think they'll lose 3 games. I think it'll be Cincinnati, Memphis, and I don't think it'll be SMU. I think it's going to be a East Carolina, a Temple, somebody like that that's going to knock them off. Nathan, what about you, man? All right, Raymond, what about you, man?
Hey, worst case scenario for you guys, 8-4. But best case scenario, I think you guys would be 10-2 because you're going to lose a couple games in between there. really looking at Memphis, and they are loaded this year. And also, too, one of the most improbable schools like East Carolina or Temple can easily pull an upset against y'all. So I know the American is just like any other conference other than the SEC, and the fact that anybody can beat anyone in any given Saturday.
Hey, Ron, what about you, man?
All right, so I'm going to give you my record, but I'm going to give you the teams I think UCF is going to lose to. Okay, so I'm thinking UCF is going to go 9-3, and I'm thinking they're going to lose to. I got Louisville. I think they're going to lose to Louisville. I think they're going to lose to Memphis, and then I think SMU is going to take them out. And I think they're going to end in 9-3 because I know Louisville's on the rise, and I don't even know where UCF will be with the new coach. Because don't get me wrong, Gus Malzahn's great, but he is a new coach in a new place with new coaching staff and everything. So this could be a little hiccup here. This could be a little because I mean what I learned with UCF 9-3 is a hiccup here, you know. So I'm an Arkansas fan. I would give anything to be 9-3, but UCF I feel like is going to go 9-3.
Plus another
Eric,
one to watch out for.
I know John's got a question for you. Oh, go ahead. Yeah,
Plus another one to watch out for.
that's what I was just getting ready to say.
Oh, Navy, yeah.
Yeah, you got
Yeah,
a bye
that,
week
that,
before
that
Navy,
triple
though.
option is hard to defend.
Yeah.
Eric, one more question from me. I know John's got a question for you. As far as his assistants that he's bringing in, do you know or have you heard? Is he bringing guys from the Auburn staff? A la Chad Morris, is he coming with him?
So I've been keeping an eye on that, and he's already hired. I want to say maybe about 4. He's hired the defensive a defensive coordinator that he's worked with before. He was actually going to be the defensive line coach down at Miami. I think his name was Travis. He's all excited to be here. Then he picked up somebody from Texas, and I think he picked up a strength and conditioning coach from Kansas State who has some pretty good accolades. And then it was just announced last night that the coordinator for football is going to be coming from Liberty, and he was actually the little brother of Michael Orr from the movie Blindside.
Oh.
He's already bringing in.
Oh yeah, SJ. That's right.
SJ.
Yeah. So he's got about 4 or 5. I think he probably has maybe about 3 maybe left or something like that. I think overall everybody's pretty excited about the people he's bringing because they have experience and they're somebody that he's familiar with. There is one guy that I think who's going to be the or the offensive line coach. I think some people from Auburn were chiming in on social media saying that, well, he didn't do a good job at Auburn, so I hope you're ready for him to not do a good job for you. Well, maybe he'll learn from his mistakes and things like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And also, like you guys were mentioning earlier, yeah, the schedule might be pretty simple to gauge, but then also you have that chemistry concern. One of the concerns that UCF fans have had for the last couple of days was how are the players going to react to this? Because they all wanted Levy, or a good portion of them wanted Levy. And then when they didn't get him, we're kind of concerned that, maybe they're not going to like it. There was even speculation when Gus Malzahn's name first started coming out. Dylan Gabriel deleted all the UCF stuff from his social media accounts. Now it came back like an hour or 2 later. And then people, UCF fans everywhere, kind of held their breath to hear from Dylan Gabriel. And finally, I want to say Wednesday or Thursday, he posted something on social media and Instagram that he's meeting with Malzahn and everything. So we're like, okay, maybe everything is going to be okay. Because otherwise, I think we were worried that Dylan may even transfer out.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, that's a concern of every team. You know, of course, when you hire a new coach, you don't know how the players are going to react to it. Like I said, I think Gus will be successful there. I think the pressure at Central Florida is just different than it is at Auburn. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Central Florida. I mean, I see you have your national championship shirt on.
No,
and I won't talk about the fact that it's not a.
No, this is just the peaceful.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
I held back.
All right. I was just going to inform you that it's not a real national championship. Anyway, but you know, Eric, it's one of those things, man, where I'm excited for not just Central Florida, and I'm a Memphis fan, and that's not a popular thing to say, but I'm more excited for our conference.
Right.
That's what really excites me. Hang on.
Right. Because the better
John, go ahead now.
The better the conference is, it helps other teams that are up at the top of the conference possibly try and get into that playoff, or at least look good overall.
Because if there's more ranked teams in the American, that will give you a boost.
Right. Exactly.
Well, here's my question.
Go ahead.
Being a UCF fan that you are, you know, the whole thing, your big quarterback, and I remember him, Mackenzie Milton.
Do a group message.
Hell of quarterback. I mean, just unstoppable. For him to transfer over to Florida State, what was y'all's reaction to that? I thought he was going to come back to UCF.
That way I can see it, and then call
it actually wasn't too surprising.
What's going on. That way
we kind of knew that he was going to go. It was really a bummer because obviously everybody wanted the storybook ending, including myself. We wanted him to come back and play at least one game for us or whatever. But I think because, you know, once we realized and once we heard that there's so much of a friendship and respect between Dylan Gabriel and Mackenzie, Mackenzie knew that he didn't really want to compete with his friend for the job. So he's like, look, I got to go someplace else where I feel like I can get a real good shot to possibly make it into the NFL. So now the good thing about it for UCF fans is it's not that far away. It's like a 6-7 hour drive. If we want to go see him play, we can. No. So I think most of all, you know, as long as it wasn't USF or the Gators, we're like, okay, yeah, that's fine. You know, I remember Jonathan would always joke around like, oh yeah, you know, while he was injured in rehab, and he's like, oh yeah, he's coming to Memphis.
This is when Norvell was the coach, but that's another story.
Right.
I mean, Norvell picked him up though.
Yeah. It just shows like Mackenzie Milton, like y'all talked about Mackenzie Milton for one quick second before I ask my question. But Mackenzie Milton did say on a podcast he's always had a lot of respect for Coach Norvell's offense since the Memphis days. And that's what kind of in that relationship on and off the field, because he ended up talking to him after that injury as well, because, you know, I think we were supposed to play on that championship game as well, weren't we? That same year?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mackenzie got hurt, and Gabriel was the quarterback for that game, I think. But, yeah, that relationship with Norvell and Mackenzie is pretty much unique, too, in that story. But real quick, the good thing for Central Florida fans, like I just brought up like 10 minutes ago, it feels like now, y'all don't have Tulsa on the schedule either, Eric. Tulsa is not on y'all's football schedule, so congratulations there.
Right.
And that's a good, you know, it's not on their schedule this year. But Tulsa's beat y'all the last 2 years, you know, from the rankings.
Tulsa's beat us like the last 10 years. Tulsa is our boogeyman, like we were Memphis' boogeyman.
But yeah, my question, Eric, I asked you this on the phone the other day, but the guys didn't get the answer because they weren't on the phone with us.
Right.
But give me Josh Heupel's grade from the Central Florida days that you give him. I know, like Wes talked about, you know, the thing that pisses you off and pisses a lot of Central Florida fans off, where it was like that 4th and goal from Memphis, you know, played y'all this past year, 4th and goal from the 8-yard line. Y'all didn't decide to get the points. and y'all
Right.
knew it was going to be a shootout, in that game because the way that Memphis is offense been the last couple of seasons. You got 4 points when you should.
Right.
So my question is, what kind of grade do you give Josh Heupel, and what do you think Josh Heupel can succeed to get better at Tennessee?
Right. Overall, so like we said the other day, we think a letter C grade is probably pretty fair for him. Like Wes said earlier, he just does not do a good job of making adjustments for whatever reason. An exterior thing that is kind of like not really related to the game, but it's related to the team, is it seems like he maybe didn't have the utmost respect from his players. There was one of our former players on a podcast the other day talking about how sometimes some players wouldn't exactly take him seriously. So I would say definitely deserves, a C grade. He's obviously, he's good at doing the high-powered offense and things like that. He's got to have the tools to do that. There's concern, he may have a hard time trying to do that against some teams in the SEC. Your defense is going to be worn out trying to, do 80 plays, to defend 80 plays against Alabama or something like that. So he definitely needs to work on the adjustments. That's going to be his big thing. He's got to figure out, like, look, if this isn't working, I can't just force my strategy down their throat. So.
Yeah, I like that scene.
Yeah,
It's pretty well done.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think if you look at Gus Malzahn, he's been successful. I mean, a lot of Auburn fans don't say he was successful at Auburn, but you're not there that long. If somebody around the program does not find you as a successful coach, if you look at what he did at Arkansas State, I mean, he gave Memphis fits. We hated them. We did. We hated him. But when you look at Central Florida, I think that, like I said at the very beginning, I think this is a good hire, both athletic director and head coach. It sounds like to me he's putting together a pretty good staff to build for the future, and he can recruit. Let's not take anything from him on that side of it. You go back and look at Auburn; they've pulled some talent. I mean, that's for sure. But Eric, thank you very much for being on with us this morning for about roughly 20 minutes or so now, just to get a little bit of a Central Florida feel to the show. Obviously, man, football season is coming up right around the corner again. It'll be here before we know it, and we definitely want to have you back on the show moving forward in next college football season if you would like to.
Sounds good. And make sure you guys come on down here to Orlando for the game.
Oh, yeah.
I need a private jet.
See if I can talk to Gus. I'll talk to Gus.
Hey, whoa! You're already making NCAA violations already. He ain't even coached his first game. But yeah, Eric, thank you very much for being on the show with us, the 4-Star Sports Show today. Thank you very much, man. We really appreciate it.
Yep, you're welcome. Take care, guys.
Well, John,
Well, Wes,
that was good. I like Eric. But it's time to get to our games of the week. So, John,
buddy.
we'll start with you, John. Give me your games.
my games will start off with some men's basketball. We got West Virginia traveling to snowy Austin, Texas, where it's been snowing like the last few days there.
Alive. Heard of that.
But yeah, snowy Austin, Texas, where they host West Virginia Mountaineers in the top 15
So you got
matchup.
Texas, West Virginia, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game. I think. Last time they played was a 1-point or 2-point game where Texas won 72-70 at West Virginia. But I got Texas at home to survive this week.
I'll go next, and then we'll go Ray, Aaron, Nathan on the order here. Give me Texas. I like Shaka Smart a lot, man. Shaka. I like the guy. He's a good coach. He did a great job at VCU. As we well know, it's been well documented. But give me Texas to get the big win today. Nathan, what about you, man? Oh, Nathan's on the phone. All right, let's go with Raymond. What about you?
All right, so give me Texas this one too. I like the fact they're at home, facing a really good opponent, but I feel Texas will ultimately win out. So give me Texas on this one.
All right, hey, Ron.
Give me West Virginia. I got West Virginia.
Really? He's taking Huggy.
Yeah. They're going to an away game. They're angry. They're pumped. That coach is going to have them ready. West Virginia is going to take the win here. It's going to be very close. It's going to go to the bitter end. It may be a last-second jump shot, but West Virginia is going to win it.
Nathan, I called Dick Vitale.
All right, Nathan. Nathan, you got West Virginia or Texas, buddy?
Yeah, give me Texas, buddy. Give me the Hook 'em Horns at home.
All right, John, what's next, man?
And Christian, our other guy, has Texas as well, by the way. Next game, I got a women's basketball game, guys. It's Lipscomb, who travels to North Florida, and I'm sure they're glad to get out of Nashville with all that snow as well. Lipscomb is 9-7. North Florida is 10-7. Lipscomb is on a 0-7 road streak right now, but they have won 4 in a row. Meanwhile, North Florida is 7-1 at home and have won 4 straight as well. But the question is, how is Lipscomb going to do the rest of the year? Because there's a lot of rumblings going around regarding their head coach, who is also a graduate here of not here in college, but she ended up going to Tennessee to play basketball. But the head coach, Lauren Avant, possibly could be the next Memphis basketball coach at Memphis, because there's a lot of rumblings with her name going on around right now. So I just want to see how Lipscomb the rest of the year, comes to play with their head coach. I get North Florida though at home, because the game's at home and Lipscomb been traveling on the road, and who knows how many hours of sleep they got due to the travel conditions and whatnot as well.
Yeah, well, you alluded to it, John. They are 0-7 in their last 7 road games. They're on a 4-game winning streak, but just not on the road, not in Nashville. So give me North Florida as well. Nathan, go next.
Yep, no doubt. North Florida, man. That's where I got as well in that game.
Yes, give me North Florida as
Raymond?
well with their road-ridden streak for Lipscomb right now. They're struggling in the road. North Florida gets the win easily.
Got Lipscomb going away for the win. Second shot.
He said, "Not so fast, my friend. Not so fast."
Hey, Christian agrees with you. Great minds think alike over there.
All right.
But yeah, Christian got Lipscomb as well.
All right. Who we got next, John?
Let's go with Ray.
All right, awesome, John. So, got a couple good games up tap. One's a rivalry game on the women's side, but I'm going to go with the men. Let's talk about the men's team first that I picked this week. It's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Florida State, the 16th ranked team in the nation, is facing the Pitt Panthers today at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central Time on ACC Network Plus, I believe. And Florida State right now is a 5.5 point favorite, but Pittsburgh's going to be at home. Hell to Pitt. I'm going with Pittsburgh.
Y'all love these episodes today.
Okay.
Give me Florida State. I can't take Pitt to beat Florida State. Florida State's a really good basketball team. Give me Leonard Hamilton and the Florida State Seminoles.
Who's next?
Nathan?
Oh, Nathan? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Nathan.
Give me Florida State. No doubt, dude. Florida State all the way, buddy. I can't pick Pitt. I can't do it. Give me Florida State.
So since I love the city of Philadelphia so much, I cannot pick Pittsburgh. Not neither. So I got Florida State.
I do think it could be a trap game though for Florida State because they're traveling into Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh does have 9 wins on the year. They're probably one of the improved teams in the ACC this year. They average 6 steals a game, where Florida State averages 7 steals a game. I'll take Florida State on the road, but it won't be easy going into Pittsburgh. And Christian does also have Florida State as well.
All right. So on the women's side, we have a good rivalry today: Lehigh and Lafayette. Historic rivals in terms of their sports, but for women's for women's basketball and everything like that. Hang on here.
They play Monday, but yeah.
Yeah, it's probably Monday, but
yeah, Monday game.
Monday ain't good. Give me Lehigh on this one.
I'm gonna go with Ray on this one. Give me Lehigh as well. Though you are right, Ray. They do have some great rivalry games between these two schools.
Yes.
Nathan, what about you, man?
Nathan?
John, who you got, man?
I'll take good old Lafayette at home. Although, like y'all talked about, it is a good rivalry in a way. But I remember watching them on NBC Sports and football one year. So that's how I got to watching these Ivy League schools and Patriot League games in basketball. So that's how I remember those Patriot League games. So give me Lafayette at home.
Give me Lehigh Valley. Woohoo!
Yes, sir. Hey Nathan, what about you, buddy?
I'm taking Lafayette, man. I can't go Lehigh. Sorry.
Right.
I'm going Lafayette. I'm not on whatever Aaron's on right now. I'm going Lafayette.
All right. Aaron, let's go to your games next, man.
Yes. So my men's game, we're going to start with. So I got at 6:00 p.m. Eastern time, 5:00 Central time. I have Arizona going to Southern California, USC, and USC is ranked 17 right now. So Arizona has a record of 14-8, and USC has a record of 18-3. I feel like USC, since they're home and we're getting closer to the big dance, I got USC dominating this game.
With the hand.
All right. Oh man, this is gonna be a good game. I'm gonna take USC.
I'm gonna I'll take Southern Cal at home. Although Arizona did give UCLA a good run in the first half last week, or the other day, I mean. But yeah, the good thing is Arizona doesn't have to go too far to travel. They can stay in Los Angeles and play Southern Cal. That's the only good thing about this week for Arizona. But I got Southern Cal at home. I like their coaching staff a little bit better.
Yes, give me Southern Cal as well in this one too. They're at home. This will be a good resume patter for the tournament. Give me USC.
Yeah, give me USC. I mean, Arizona couldn't beat UCLA. They lost by like 10 or something like that to UCLA. Oh, it was more than that. It was 14. So yeah, give me USC.
Yeah, and Christian also has Southern Cal as well, guys.
All right, y'all. So my women's game is going to be another 6:00 p.m. Eastern time, 5:00 p.m. Central time game, and it's going to be found on ESPN3. And it's women's, and it's going to be South Dakota State off against North Dakota State. South Dakota State is ranked 23 in the country, and they are 18-2. North Dakota State is 14-5. And North Dakota State will be home, So I got South Dakota State rolling into North Dakota State, winning in a close matchup because this is a rivalry game. So I feel like rivalry games are always closer than what the records show and everything. So I got South Dakota State with a very close win.
On when he will need to be.
Yeah, so give me the Jackrabbits in this one too. With record 18-2 coming on the road against North Dakota State. I don't think North Dakota State will hang in there at the end. So give me South Dakota State on this one too.
I think it's going to be a close game in North Dakota. I like the mascot matchup in this one.
That way, because
Jackrabbits versus the Bison. So I wish I could see them play football against each other, which we probably will in the next couple of weeks, with it being in the spring now with their league or whatever. But, I got South Dakota State going into North Dakota State and beating North Dakota State.
Good.
And Adam, what about you?
I'm looking at this now. They played yesterday, right?
Women's basketball.
Well,
Yeah, they played women's basketball yesterday. Yeah,
It's like a double. Yeah.
It's a double header. So
Yeah.
dude, just I like these double header games. I really do, because you don't know what to expect in the next one. It could be total domination again, or it could not be. Give me South Dakota State though. I mean, I like North Dakota State. This ain't football.
All right, so those are my games. Who's next?
We'll go with good old Nathan while Wes is on the phone, I guess.
All right, my games. Okay, cool. All right, so my men's game is going to be at about 12 o'clock today on the SEC Network. It's going to be number 8 Alabama versus Dandy Vandy. The game will be
thank you very much.
It will be at I believe it will be at Alabama University. Yep, it is at Alabama, and they're 14-point favorite right now.
Oh gosh. I guess I'll go first. I'll pick Bama at home, but I think Vanderbilt's going to be giving them a closer game than they should. But it all depends on which Vanderbilt team shows up. Is it going to be the Scottie Pippen Jr. that averages about 18 plus a game lately, or is it going to be the team that should have beat Kentucky at home the other night, but they fell short?
Mm-hmm.
And did y'all see the exchange between Calipari and Stackhouse? Oh, we are talking about Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
While Calipari gave him the peace sign, and Stackhouse didn't want no part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me wonder if there's a lot of heated, between these coaches right now. Between coaches and Calipari like they always been. But yeah, I got Alabama at home against good old Vanderbilt.
Well, folks,
I know I'm sure I just missed a few games. Give me Bama as well. But Bama's going to beat Vanderbilt. But I will say this about Vanderbilt. I think their future basketball-wise is kind of bright. I think Stackhouse is a good hire for them. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's all right. So today is Bama's senior day. So their seniors are going to get featured during the game, and Bama's on the road. Give me Alabama in this one. At home, rather. Give me Alabama.
Aaron.
I don't know if I'm going to be drinking the same juice I've been drinking all morning, or start drinking y'all juice.
You might put that juice in. I think it's expired, man. I think it's expired, Aaron.
No, I got Bama on this one. Ranked number 8 team in the country. I feel like it's going to be maybe a closer game than what people think. Now, I have a question. This Scottie Pippen Jr., is that the same Scottie Pippen that played with Bama? Like, is that like?
Yeah, that's his son.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's his son.
That is Hamburg, Arkansas's own Scottie Pippen. Yes, that is the Scottie Big Nose Pippen.
I'm thinking like Khrushchev again. I don't know. I like the Scottie Pippen name, but no, I got Bama on this one.
All right. So, my next game.
West, the only game that you missed was
so
North Dakota and South Dakota, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, give me South Dakota.
Okay.
Jackrabbits.
All right, so my next game, the Women's League. All right, so we got number 21 Tennessee, who's coming off of a big win against South Carolina, and you got number 22 Georgia Bulldogs. And that game is going to be on SC Network. It's actually a Sunday game, and it's at 11 a.m. So it's going to be a good game no matter what. But it is at Georgia. But there ain't no point spread yet. So
Ooh.
They'll do
Ooh. Give me Georgia to knock off Tennessee. Lady Vols.
Hey, I'm feeling the
Go
same
ahead, John.
thing, Wes.
No, Ray can go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm feeling the,
Yeah,
I'm
good-
feeling
yeah,
the
go
same
ahead,
thing. Give me the Bulldogs in this one too.
nah.
John?
Give me,
I-
Aaron, go ahead. Sorry.
give me
I'm
the
talking.
Lady Vols. I think I said that right. Give me the
Yes, you did.
Tennessee Volunteers to beat Georgia.
Before I give my pick,
Oh boy,
Christian
here we go.
Before hey, you like Alabama? What? But hey, before we go to my pick,
we know your
Christian
pick,
got the-
John. You
Yeah.
don't have to
No,
tell
hey.
us. We know.
No, you don't know my pick because I'm not going with Georgia right now. But
What?
Christian's got
Oh,
Tennessee. Christian's got Tennessee as
Look
well.
at Aaron's back there. What the-
Wes just spit out a drink. What the heck, Wes? Really?
I mean, it's just go ahead.
But Christian's got Tennessee. He's got Rocky Top. But Nathan, you made a good point in Tennessee beating South Carolina. The way they were struggling a little bit in the first half, and I like what the coach said at halftime to his players, which we won't get on air. But due to females watching the show, but yeah, I like what the coach said at halftime. Tennessee does travel to Georgia, like you said. Georgia's 7-3 in their last 10. Tennessee's 6-4. Georgia's 9-2 at home. Tennessee's only played 6 games on the road. Surprisingly, they're only 3-3 on the road. But I want to see how this Tennessee team works into Georgia and Athens, and basically plays pretty well against South Carolina last week or this past few days and beat them. But I'm thinking Georgia could win, but I just think that Tennessee win could basically give them some momentum the rest of the year like they did against South Carolina. That's why I'm picking Lady Vols.
Well, here's the thing about the head coach for Lady Vols is she was actually on the championship team. She was point guard for the championship team for Pat Summitt.
oh,
She's actually
Yep.
She was coached underneath the great Pat Summitt, and which everybody here knows that name. I mean, one of the best, one of the greatest of the women's basketball league coaches. And she was actually.
If you don't know that name, you're under the biggest rock in the world.
Yeah. I mean, the freaking court is named after her. This whole stadium's named after her. So, I mean, and being coached at the championship team as one of the, she was on the championship team for Pat Summitt that year. So, I mean, she coming off that big win on South Carolina, and you got to understand, Tennessee was down in that game. And I know this much because, I mean, my mom, she likes to watch the Lady Vols. But Tennessee was down big, about I think at one point 20 points or 15 or something like that, and came back and pulled off the big win. So that's like Arkansas girls when they beat UConn. It was the biggest surprise of it all, So you just never know. I mean, that's the great thing about basketball this year. The only thing we do know is I think North Carolina and Duke are out of the NCAA tournament for once.
But yeah, Nathan, Kelly Harper
Yeah,
played at Tennessee in 1999, by the way, for our fans. And I like her background. She came from Missouri State 2 years ago, where she took Missouri State to the big dance, if y'all remember right, as well. And so that's one reason I think Tennessee, after the win against South Carolina, could get some more wins under their belt for the rest of the year and help them to make the NCAA tournament with a good seed in March by beating Georgia this weekend. That's why I'm thinking Tennessee could win.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at, speaking of Pat Summitt, when Pat Summitt was on the hill at Tennessee, there was a expectation, and that expectation was NCAA tournament, Final Four, national championship, year in, year out. And she accomplished that. She did a great job. I actually got a chance to watch Pat Summitt coach. I got live. That is one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. Was watching her not only work the sidelines, work the referees, because that was fun to watch, but just how she loved those players. Each one of those players were her kids. And, speaking of Pat Summitt, at the very beginning of her coaching career at Tennessee, she was actually younger than some of the players she was coaching. That is, to be able to be younger than some of the players you're coaching and just stay there forever is just purely awesome. Pat Summitt was one of the greatest, if not the greatest women's coach possibly of all time. It's very, very fun to see Tennessee basketball, women's basketball, start to come back up. I guess my 2 games are next, right, guys?
Yep.
Well, who's Nathan got real quick? If you don't mind me asking, I forgot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, Nathan's got Tennessee. I know who's going to pick.
I will say this. Just like my whole family, there's only one Tennessee we're actually cheer for, and that's the Lady Vols. And that's just because my mom she liked Pat Summitt. She's followed Pat Summitt ever since. So, and that's the only reason I'll pick Tennessee.
And if there's one thing I know about the Wilson family, you don't go against mama.
Don't ever choose against mama.
It's hard to find out about Mount.
You just don't do it. You just don't do it.
You don't do it.
All right. My 2 games are, first off, we got number 15 Texas Tech coming in at 14-6, traveling to number 22 Kansas, 16-7 on the season. This game is a 1:00 tip-off on ESPN. I think Texas Tech will get the win today. Kansas is slowly coming back. They're slowly making a run here. But I think Texas Tech's just too good. Chris Beard has done an amazing job out there with Texas Tech. Give me Texas Tech to get the win. What about you, Aaron?
I got Kansas at home. I try to go against Kansas when they're home. I know this is sort of an off year for them, but I got Kansas coming ready for this big show, and Kansas is going to win. Now, like I said, like I said for some other games today, like it's going to be a very close game, but I still have them winning.
All right. What about you, Nathan?
All right. So I'm looking here, and Texas Tech, I guess, has been out of work for about 3 weeks now. They had their game against Baylor postponed, the game against TCU postponed. Well, 2 games against TCU, both of them postponed. So they're coming off of a little bit of a good rest, 3 weeks of rest, and then you got Kansas coming off of a win against Kansas State.
That was ugly too.
Yeah. So, man, I just this one's going to be a really a toss up, really, in my eyes. But you know what? I'm going to go with the Jayhawks. Give me Kansas for this one.
Go ahead, Ray.
Ray.
Yeah, so Kansas at home against Texas Tech. Give me Rock Chalk Jayhawk KU.
Christian got
ahead, John.
good old Texas Tech. Yeah, Christian got Texas Tech on the road going in Lawrence. They're beating Kansas, but both teams are kind of about even on the turnovers. They're both averaging about 12 a game lately. The thing about Kansas, I brought up a good point to me and my uncle talked about this the other day, but they have lost a lot of recruits to this NCAA violations going on at Kansas as well. And I think that's what's kind of hurting the Kansas program as of late as well. Because of all the talent that usually comes into Kansas, they're trying to wait to see what the NCAA does regarding that violations as well. But, yeah, Wes, you made a good point. Texas Tech does have Chris Beard, and Kansas has Bill Self. Bill Self is at home. They're about 35% on the 3 ball, but like the game that or not, though, against Kansas State, it's so ugly to watch at times because Kansas has been struggling in the first half as of late, and that's where I think it could help Texas Tech to go into Lawrence with a lesser crowd of 2,500 people instead of the 16,000, and it's going to come into Texas Tech's advantage this week. So that's the reason I'm picking Texas Tech, because Kansas has been struggling in the first half the last 3 ball games. So I'm picking Texas Tech on the road.
All right. Up next, we've got what I think is going to be a great game. You've got the number. It's women's, by the way, guys. Number 13, women Oregon Ducks, or the Lady Ducks, I guess. What would you call them? Traveling to USC to take on the Ladies of Troy from South California. Give me Oregon to get the win, but I think this game is going to be a lot closer than people think. I think USC may scare Oregon, but give me Oregon to get the win today. Aaron, what about
you? I got Oregon. I feel like they're home. They're going to be they're hungry. They're wanting to finish strong and going into the big dance. So I got Oregon. Big.
All right, Raymond.
Yeah, give me Oregon as well, because this will be a good resume pattern for their seeding in terms of tournaments. So give me Oregon this one.
All right, Nathan.
Yeah, give me the Ducks, man. Quack quack.
Quack quack. All right, Sturd, what you got, man?
So Oregon plays who again?
USC.
USC, the Ladies of Troy.
Huh. Are we sure that game is being played, first of all?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
According to ESPN, it's still being played.
Okay, I heard there was like a postponement. That's what I was asking. Gosh, I'll take Oregon as well, guys. Although I thought we had a game called South Florida and Tulane for some reason, but it's okay. I take Oregon over that game.
Well, it's all right. I think it's going to be a good matchup out in the Pac-12. Man, I enjoy Pac-12 basketball. It's fun. It's energetic. There's some good basketball teams out there that a lot of people don't see. Speaking of good teams and things that a lot of people don't see, college baseball is back, fellas. College baseball, for me at least, anyway, cranks up today. This State Farm, I just want to talk about this State Farm college baseball showdown that's going on right now down in Dallas, or in Arlington, Texas, at the Rangers' new stadium, which I saw a glimpse of when I was at the Cotton Bowl. It was being built. But today at 11 a.m. over on the Flow Sports app, there's not a free version of it, but anyway, Mississippi State is taking on Texas today. That's going to be a great game, kicking off here in about 45 minutes. You got Texas-Mississippi State today at 11. You've got Ole Miss, TCU is at 3. And then the game that I'm looking forward to is tonight, Arkansas takes on Texas Tech. John, let's talk a little bit of college baseball, man. What are you excited about this year? Of course, I'm a Memphis fan and also an Arkansas fan, so I'll be following both. But I'm very excited to see how the Omahawks from Fayetteville do this year. They are loaded once again at pitching, and the bats got to get going because that definitely hurt them at the end of last season.
Well, maybe you and Bree can make a trip to Fayetteville and watch Memphis play Arkansas this year, baseball.
I would, but it's a midweek series, and that's going to suck.
Yeah. But, like you said, college baseball is back. It all really started yesterday, as a matter of fact, for some teams as well. So I want to give a lot of credit to some upsets that I saw yesterday in the Missouri Valley. Evansville 3-2 victories over Georgia in Georgia. Indiana State 4, Pittsburgh 0 at Pittsburgh. Valparaiso 6, UAB 2. And then Southern Illinois 8, Jacksonville State 7. So a good start for the Missouri Valley in the college baseball as well. I know Missouri Valley has always has some decent teams like Missouri State traveling to Fayetteville in a regional one year, almost beating Arkansas in a regional. Then how about this, guys? Kansas State in a tournament, going to play Oregon State in a tournament and beating Oregon State, which, you know, the Pac-12 in baseball is a good conference as well. They beat Oregon State 3-2 yesterday. And Santa Clara, another team, beat number 15 Santa Barbara 8-4. And then yesterday, last night, San Francisco University goes into UCLA and beats them 6-2.
Okay.
UCLA was ranked number 2 in the nation. As a matter of fact, in that one. So
Here's what I
a
need
good
you
day
to do.
yesterday for college baseball and all these upsets that we've seen all around the country already. With the first game being yesterday for a lot of people.
That'll work, man. Yeah, not a problem.
What do y'all think about that so far?
Yeah, the upsets I've seen are really good. You know, with the major programs getting their say in terms of that.
Wes, I was basically saying to Missouri Valley yesterday. I don't know if you caught the end of it, but Missouri Valley had a good day yesterday with Evansville beating Georgia 3-2, Indiana State beating Pittsburgh 4-0, Valpo beating UAB 6-2, Southern Illinois beating Jacksonville State 8-7, and then Kansas State in the Big 12 beat Oregon State 3-2, and then Santa Clara beat number 15 Santa Barbara 8-4, and then San Francisco goes into UCLA, beats them 6-2, and UCLA is number 2 in the nation. I know it's their first game, a lot of jitters and nerves and all that, but that was a good day for the Missouri Valley and a few upsets all around the country yesterday.
Yeah, and that's really what I'm looking forward to with college baseball getting started. I'm about to watch the mess out of some college baseball.
Yep.
I love the sport of baseball. College baseball is just – I mean, I'll be honest with you. I am looking for a PlayStation 2 just so I can go get that college baseball video game again. That was a great game, and I love it, and I want to play it. But, college baseball, man, to me is one of the most exciting times of the season. And does it get any better than Omaha to end the year? I mean, it's just the spectacle of Omaha, Nebraska, and all these teams fighting to win a national championship. I'm really excited about college baseball. Raymond,
it's always been on my bucket list.
College baseball. When it comes to college baseball up there in Philly, do y'all just wear long sleeves year round, or how does that work?
Well, April tends to be the coldest month in terms of pro baseball, but February and March, you want to bundle up because average around 30s, 40s game time, and
this year there might be snow on the field, you know.
yeah, you can't play with snow on the ground, you know. So so
No.
the ideal conditions are between late April, around April time, because that is a good time. The snows are all melted down, and a lot of the teams like to go out and play.
Nathan, when it comes to college baseball, man, I know you were shaking your head pretty heavily when I said I was going to watch the mess out of it. I'm sure you will too. What are you excited about, man, or what excites you about college baseball?
Man, what excites me is just the atmosphere, dude. I mean, and also, you know, my little brother going to Mississippi, graduated from Mississippi State. If you've ever seen the new stadium now over there in Starkville, it's freaking amazing, dude. They love baseball.
It's state of the art, man.
Man, you can basically stay in, basically they have a living quarters over there where you can actually rent it out and you can just walk on your balcony and there's the freaking field right there, right in front of you. It's just the atmosphere, dude. It's unbelievable. That's like today. I'm going to be watching Alabama. They have a doubleheader today, one at 11, one at 2. I'm gonna be checking them out. They won yesterday, 10-6. But I mean, you got to understand. Last season, they were robbed, basically. You know, the COVID-19.
I completely agree.
Season. They weren't able to play. You know, and a lot of them went into the draft without even being scouted. You know, so giving them this chance to have an actual season this year and coming out, they're all out to prove something. You know. They've been they've been at home and all this kind of stuff, and finally getting on that field it's a whole new ball game, and I'm so excited to have it. I love college baseball. I'm like you, Wes. I had the NCAA baseball game on the PlayStation back then too, and it was like the best thing ever. But
Dude, that game was so much fun. You could switch between metal bats, wooden bats. Anyway,
Yep.
I won't get into it. It was a very fun game.
but it was fun. But it was fun, and a big game. I can't wait to watch this game. Arkansas against Texas Tech, and anybody in the SEC fans know, like baseball in the SEC is big. Okay, you got South Carolina, you got teams like Florida, LSU, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. You know, all these teams. Most of them are, Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt too.
They're baseball schools. I mean, Arkansas is too. So in Arkansas, you never know what to expect over there in Arkansas because they're a baseball school too. They've been to Omaha and everything. So just the atmosphere, just giving the guys a chance to play. I mean, that's what I love about college baseball. I mean, I actually enjoy it better than watching my Cardinals play sometimes. So just because
I could agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to me to the difference of college football and NFL football.
Mhm.
It's just I feel like, and I could be wrong on this. I'm not saying that the NFL players don't care about the teams they're playing for, but in college, these kids want to be successful for their university, for their families, for the fans. They want it more.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Arkansas Razorbacks, I know, Aaron, you're definitely looking forward to this season. Last season, I was really excited about this Arkansas baseball team, and we didn't get a chance to see it. I mean, you had Hudson. I can go through all of the names. When you look at this, we'll talk about Arkansas specifically, Aaron.
I think that was a good thing because we were going on this dreadful losing streak, and then all of a sudden the whole season was canceled. So maybe that was the universe saying, you know what, this is not your year. We're going to cancel it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Christian Johnston, thank you for watching, man. We miss you on the show. Hope everything is going well with you, buddy.
Hey, Wes,
most definitely. And like you said, Nathan, when you look at the SEC baseball, every game is a battle. I mean, even if it's Ole Miss has got a good baseball program. Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. I mean, you name them, they got a good team. LSU is another one that is just iconic in college baseball. One more thing before we jump over to the last segment or the last part of the show. When you look at the college baseball, John, like you said, there's a lot of teams that are upsetting people right now. And that is what I really love about it the most, is that you get teams that'll just, I mean, it's baseball. They'll outpitch you, they'll out-hit you. You may have errors, you may have, other things that happen throughout this game, throughout the season. That's what I love about college baseball right there, or baseball in general, really. Right there is, it's a mental game. You've got to put the last play behind you. You've got to keep on pushing. Also, before we get off here, fans,
I do want to say also, Wes,
go ahead, John.
About, you're talking about SEC baseball, but I want to give some people. I know some people that played SEC baseball the last couple of years, and like you said, it's a good 9-inning baseball game, day in and day out. Anybody can beat anybody on a given day. For example, I didn't even know that. I'm glad that I want to go to the SEC tournament in Hoover one day. That's always on my bucket list too. But the thing about SEC baseball, though, I'm glad a lot of people are still playing these rivalry games. Like, for example, Arkansas is playing Memphis, like we just talked about, in a midweek series. I'm glad that game is happening. I'm glad Memphis plays Ole Miss. I'm glad Memphis plays Mississippi State because in a midweek series, because these kids don't, are getting recruited by these schools, maybe, or not getting recruited by these schools, I mean. And they could go into Oxford, they're going to start one and say, hey, we beat Ole Miss. We beat Mississippi State. And I never got a chance to get recruited by these guys, but it sure does have a good feeling to beat or play for Memphis and beat these guys in the midweek series or whenever they play them. But I want to, like we talked about with Jonathan Bowman, guys, the American Conference in general as well does not get enough love as well as the college baseball whole as well. From top to bottom, we got Tulane. Yeah, we can get Tulane, got Central Florida. I know Central Florida lost last time to Florida Atlantic, but UCF is usually pretty good. Tulane, Cincinnati's on average. I think this year, if Memphis needs something to prove that they can make an NCAA tournament again, this is the year to do it. Like we talked with Greg and Eli, with Brandon and you, Hunter Goodman is a stud on that squad. He's an All-American nominee probably in the long run for a reason. I just think the American Conference could beat anybody on a given day as well. And Ray and Aaron, I did not notice that Temple has not had a baseball team since 2014.
That's true.
And I'm like, go ahead.
I want to add this, though. When we talk about SEC being a powerhouse and everything in the baseball, top 25 in baseball right now, SEC-wise, we have 11 right now in the rankings. You got Florida at 1, Georgia at 2, Ole Miss at 5, Vandy at 7, Arkansas is at 14, Auburn 15, State 17, LSU 19, Tennessee 20, Alabama 21, A&M 23.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's like the whole.
It's crazy.
So,
I'm telling you,
SEC
the SEC is a conference to look out for this year.
But yeah, anyways, about my thing about Temple, real quick, I was going to say Temple has not had a baseball team since 2014. And I see a lot of teams lately, for example, a North Texas baseball team, they don't even have a baseball team. They have a club baseball team. So they're not even part of the Conference USA baseball. And I see a lot of teams all around the country are dropping their baseball program and it's going to like a team ball and just playing like random teams here and there. That's what I'm kind of surprised about college baseball as well, since you brought that up, Wes.
But also, one thing I will say is this is the first February in Philadelphia, and if the baseball season starts in Philadelphia, I see why Temple canceled because it is cold, it is snowy, it is all the above. I think it's like that every year in February.
But another thing you got to understand about these guys coming in and playing college baseball, a lot of these kids coming out of like high school, they got MLB scouts looking at them out of high school. I remember a guy by the name Wes. I don't know if you know the name Drew Pomeranz.
Yeah.
You know, Drew was looked at in high school. You know, and he went over to he decided that he was going to go to college. Went to Ole Miss, an outstanding pitcher at Ole Miss, unbelievable. And then got his went into pros. So a lot of these kids, they're already got MLB scouts looking at them, so they could. If they wanted to, they could skip over college and go straight to the pros if they wanted to, So a shout out to some of these kids
that's a very good point.
Play college baseball.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I am very excited that college baseball is back. Also, for everyone watching YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, thank you very much today. Also, guys, I posted it a while back on the page. We have a PayPal account set up for this show, and that account is strictly for us to make the show better, to increase our equipment for things in the future that we're planning on doing. So if anyone out there would like to give to our PayPal account, it's on the show. I'll make sure I post a link again today at some point in time. But yeah, if you guys feel like you want to give to us as the 4-Star Sports Show, please reach out to our PayPal account. We would be much appreciated. Trust me. Guys, Nathan, Aaron, Ray, John, it's been another good week, man. We've had another great show. We've gone just about an hour and a half this morning. Thank you guys for joining us. We talked a little ball. We talked a little baseball. We talked a little basketball. Yeah.
Hold on. I just want to – this is just going to be real quick because I just saw it on College Game Day. And I just want everybody to give their pick real quick because it's a good one. Mm-hmm. Out of the NCAA basketball team right now, the March Madness is coming up. and they posted a good question. Who do y'all think can challenge Baylor and Gonzaga at this point right now?
Ooh.
I think you gotta look out for Virginia. I don't
Yeah,
think we can
definitely.
forget about Virginia. They're good. They're
Mhm.
very good. The difference in Virginia this year is they don't have that NBA talent that everybody just flocks to. They
Right.
got multiple guys on the court that can beat you. I think Virginia is a team you have to look out for.
Maybe Michigan.
Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, so plenty of teams in play here, but I think the best chance would be either Michigan or Virginia, to be quite honest.
Aaron?
Yeah. So I think Michigan has a chance, but also Houston's been pretty scrappy too. I think Houston might give them a fight, and then also I'm with y'all in Virginia too.
Yeah.
Aaron, it all depends on what team shows up for Houston.
Yeah.
It really does on them because speaking of Houston, Wichita State beat Houston this past week. If Wichita State does not get that guy that job, the guy that's in the interim coach right now at Wichita State, the way he's turned that team around, 360 mode in 1 year, there's something wrong with the AD and the president and the whole 9 yards at Wichita State. But my thing is, which Big Ten team, could step up and give them a challenge? Could it be Ohio State? Could it be Illinois? Could it be
Michigan.
Minnesota? Michigan? Could it be those four? The Big Ten this year has been a good conference to watch as well. But I think Ohio State could maybe give them a little bit of noise as well.
Yeah. And I agree. I mean, you had teams like you got Michigan. Michigan was one of the teams they aimed off. Ohio State. Hell, Villanova could come on and do something. You just never know with that team.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'll say this. Virginia and Houston. I mean, Houston only lost 2 games this year, but I mean, that's going to be the big one going into this is who's going to upset Gonzaga or Baylor? Because I'm sure as we all talk right now, and anybody listening in, the big pick for the final is either Baylor or Gonzaga. Gonzaga's everybody's pick. So you just think if somebody was to upset Gonzaga, the whole bracket's busted. So,
Chicago.
No doubt.
They even found their way in the rankings,
And my team.
And who knows? We might have a
Yeah,
Cinderella
very
story
true.
in the March Madness.
I just know one thing that Memphis better get. I know Memphis better get well soon with the COVID bug.
See,
They need some more games.
I am loving how this big dance is going to be a bubble format because I can't tell you how tired I am of seeing postponed, canceled, postponed. Right now, it's not just COVID though. It's some of it has to do with snow, but still, it's like I'm ready for this vaccine to take effect and for when games are scheduled for it to happen at that time. Like I'm missing those good old days where I can say, oh, we have a game at 2:00 on a Saturday, and that game, guess what, is going to be at 2:00 on a Saturday.
Yeah. Well, not to mention they're going to let. I think one of us had posted it maybe, but it's going to be 25% capacity at March Madness now.
Nuts.
Nice.
So they're allowing the fan base.
Well,
to
that's
do that,
good.
which I
mean,
love
that's
that.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, when we watch the NCAA tournament, the crowd is what makes the excitement. I mean, yes, what's happening on the court does, but listening to the crowds just get into it. And, Final Four is really when it gets crazy. But, once again, guys, thank you for everybody that's watched today. It's been a great show. We've gone a little bit over an hour and a half now. John started it. Thank you for being on with me, man. And once again, we do this thing every week. To Brandon Bumgarner, Kristen Johnson, we miss you guys. You'll be back next week, I'm sure. Nathan, thanks again for stepping up, man. Whenever somebody falls off, Nathan just comes in and delivers. So, thank you very much for everybody watching. Once again, guys, reach out to that PayPal account. Do what you feel led to do for this show. We are trying our best to make it the best that it can be. But thank you guys very much for watching. We from the 4 Star Sports Show are out. Thanks, guys.
See.